Welcome to Volume 2 of In the Kitchen. I'm Paul Valancourt, Pro Strongman for Nutrabolics. Today we're going to make protein pancakes. And I'm not talking about the protein pancakes that you're used to. That's basically just a rubbery egg white omelet that has a bit of cinnamon in it and maybe smells like a pancake. I'm talking about something that looks, tastes, and has the same texture as an actual pancake, yet meets fairly stringent macronutrient needs. So without wasting too much time talking about it, I'm just going to talk about the main ingredients here. The things we're going to use some minute oats, extra large eggs, cold water, and some Isobolic from Nutrabolics. Now, up until just recently I used to make this with vanilla protein powder and it still worked out really well. Isobolic now comes in cinnamon oatmeal flavor and it's just one step better. It really has taken this to the next level. It's much less work, one step better. So the first thing we have to do is I'm going to make this with 1 cup of oats today. You can scale that, based on the macronutrients that you may need for your meal. But 1 cup of oats, 45 grams of protein. First thing we got to do is we got to reduce it down to oat flour. We're going to use the magic bullet. Last episode we used the Ninja. We're all about using the right tool for the job. We're going to use the magic bullet today. Get the blade. Now, what you got to do is you got to use a little bit of a shake technique. I learned this from a good friend of mine. He uses it to put in his burger patties. I'm going to just reduce it down, and I have to give it a little bit of a shake as it's blending. It's very easy to see. You blend it down until it's the consistency of, well, flour. That's basically all we're doing is making oat flour. So we've got our base. Next, we're going to add the eggs. Now, I'm going to add 2 extra large whole eggs. If you're afraid of eggs, you could use egg whites. You could use 1 egg. Again, you can scale this to meet your macros. What I have found, though, that this recipe works best if you use at least a minimum of 1 whole egg. It really adds to the texture. Splenda to taste, or the sweetener of your choice. Throw some in there. And I'm going to use a scoop and a half of Isobolic. The cinnamon oat flavor, unbelievable. I swear this flavor is going to make Cinnabon, lose business. And some cold water. Now, adding the water takes a little bit of practice to get it just right. You need to make this the consistency of pancake batter. If you put in too much water, it's like a protein shake and it just goes nuts on the pan. Speaking of which, I'm going to preheat my pan, medium-high heat. So back to the water, what I suggest is add a little bit of water, blend it up, check your consistency, add more water as you go. If you add too much water too fast, game over. We want this to be a fairly thick batter. See, I use, probably 1/3 of a cup, maybe 1/2 of a cup of water there. Not very much. Gives us the consistency we need. Maybe even I made this a little bit too rubbery. We'll see how it turns out when it hits the pan. Now, if you're new to making pancakes, which maybe you are, maybe you aren't, something that's very important to get it right is a hot pan. Medium-high heat. I'm going to use a little bit of coconut oil because I need some fat in my meal. So I'm going to use about 2 tablespoons. If you're watching your fat intake, you could use a non-stick sprayer, a really good non-stick pan. If the pan is not hot enough, when you add the batter, it's not going to have a great effect. Most of the secret to making these have the right texture and consistency of real pancakes is the preparation. The fact that we blend the oats to oat flour first and getting the pan just right. What I like to do is I like to wait until my coconut oil is just about to smoke. and that's when I add the batter. Another easy test to check and see if your pan is ready. Just throw a sprinkle of water. If it sizzles, it's ready. So I'm going to just drop it down in. It doesn't take much, depending on how you like your pancakes. I like my pancakes to be a little bit thinner. Again, medium-high heat. You know, every stove and oven is different. I use about setting 8, 9 on mine. What I'm looking for here, as soon as I start to see tiny air bubbles coming through, it's time to flip. And actually the consistency that we've prepared today is pretty good. A little bit runny, but not bad. So there comes the bubbles. And flip. Oh, not a good flip. Amateur flip. Let's put another one in here. Can't go out like that. Flip them over, cook for maybe a minute. This one's really easy to tell because it broke, so I can see right into the middle of it, and I can see when it's done. And they start to firm up, and pull them out. We're going to make a second one because I want to show you guys that this actually does really look and act like a real pancake. Now, of course, I used a very plain recipe today. You could add blueberries, you could add raisins, you could add any type of fruit. You know, maybe if you're doing a cheat meal, you could go all out and add some chocolate chips. It really is up to you. But if you want to keep this clean, all we're talking about here is some oatmeal, an egg, and some protein powder. And a little bit of sweetener, of course. And there we are. Protein pancakes. Now, the first one, we had a little bit of an amateur flip, so it doesn't really look like much. But if I can get my camera person to zoom in close here and take a look at that, like I said, I like them thin, but that's a little doughy texture there. Really, really good. It beats the hell out of a rubbery egg white omelet that we're trying to pass off as a pancake. And if you're dieting and you're eating pretty clean, this really does feel like you're having a cheat meal, but sticking to the plan. So that's episode 2. I'm Paul V for Nutrabolics. Check me out on Twitter at Paul V Strong, and please follow Nutrabolics at Nutrabolics on Twitter as well. Have a good one. See you next time.